Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Let's Talk Autism with Autism and Us. I forgot to send out the reminders. I've been so busy today, but let me put the link in for Mr. Charles. Welcome, everybody. If you are brand new to our Let's Talk Autism open discussion session, what this is all about is just our online social gathering where we get together and we discuss things happening with our loved ones, ourselves, um, anyone affected with autism. We throw in your questions in the chat. If you see something you can help out with, feel free to jump in. I'll invite you up if you'd like to come up and share something this evening. Linda won't be with us this evening. And for those of you who don't know me, I am Nita. I am one of the admins of this wonderful establishment. So, a couple of announcements before we get started. As you all know, we are planning our event here in the Metro Detroit area. Sweatpants and Mimosas, an Autism Moms event. Very limited seating. So if you are interested and are in the Metro Detroit area, click on that link, autismandus.org, scroll down a little bit, and you'll see information about the event. And you have to reserve a spot. You have to reserve a spot. Um, so make sure you check that out. The other thing is, we will be walking for autism September 23rd with the Autism Alliance of Michigan. If you like to join the Autism and Us team, make sure you sign up. That's also on the webpage and join the Autism and Us team. And we will see you there at the Detroit Zoo. You can kill two birds with one stone. You can walk for a good cause as well as visit with those beautiful animals there at the zoo and have a fun field day with the kids. Hey, Teresa. Hey, Mr. Charles. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fine. How about you, Nita?
Good. You look like you're in the car.
Yeah, I am. Yeah,
Oh,
Cindy and I are attending. Well, we're just finishing. Picnic is just ending, and but
okay.
Cindy's granddaughter though is playing basketball with some other people, so we're
Okay.
kind of waiting for her. So I came
Oh,
out of the car
awesome.
anyway.
Okay. There's Teresa. Hey, Michelle.
Hi,
Christine from
Teresa.
California.
Hi,
Hello and
Christine.
welcome. Hey,
Hi, Natalie.
Natalie. Victoria.
Hi,
How are
Victoria.
you? So we don't have a focus topic for this evening. So I thought I would just pull up a couple things from the group. And if you guys have a particular um, topic you'd like to start on, feel free to throw it in the chat. If you want to share some good news, some bad news, and all that good stuff, feel free to throw it in the chat. Towards the end, if you have a business, you're offering a service, doing something awesome for autism, and you'd like to share your link, I will call you up and you can share what you're doing, what your business or your service is all about, what you're offering. And you can share that information, your contact information, as well as your link. So Victoria's here. So one of the things that always comes in the group is homeschooling. So what are you guys that are here this evening? Are you a homeschooler or does your child go to a private school, a public school, and why? If you chose homeschool, what is your reasoning behind that? And also, let me put this in the chat while we're talking about this. Um, if you are a homeschooler and you are interested in homeschool support, we have an excellent group where Victoria is the admin over there. So make sure you guys go over there and join that for some helpful information. I'm going to put the link in the chat here. Soon as I can find it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, here we go. I should know all these links by heart. So
Yeah.
I'm put that. Okay,
Next
go
week
ahead.
there won't be a meeting, right? Right, because of Labor Day.
You said what?
So next week there won't be a group discussion, right, because of Labor Day.
Right, right. Labor Day weekend, so we won't be on for the holiday. Yep. Oh, this year is going by fast. So that here. Hello, Jeremy.
Jeremy
Toast.
and James.
Hey, James. Homeschooling is a huge topic this time of year. Yes, when school starts. All schooling is great, helps for students to learn to play with peers. Are you saying all schooling, or is there a thing all school? You have to let me
Yeah,
know.
I think I think what she's saying, and I have to say, it's true. I did benefit from going to a school,
Uh-huh.
and being with other kids. I couldn't fit in with them socially, but then again, that's not that's not. I was totally unable. I just wasn't able. I wasn't in with the in crowd. Didn't get invited to parties and stuff, but still, I wasn't deprived of all social interaction. As I
Okay.
made some opportunities for myself by helping other kids with math, by learning some group activities that other kids did. I was able to make some opportunities for myself.
Okay. Okay. Um, Victoria says I was just going to ask the link for me. Jaden goes to public school for now. If we keep having an issue with getting his meds, that may change. Okay. So you're moving towards homeschool if there's difficulty. Public school. So Carolyn, why did you make the choice of public school, or did you look into homeschooling, or was that the best choice for your child? Victoria, she homeschools all three kids. Christine says before medications, please check out sensory challenges and communication skills. Yes, I went through all that. My son is in his last year of school, so medication for us works best for his focus in schools.
That's really an individual thing. It depends on the child.
Yeah, definitely depends on the child.
And it's important that you have doctors who know what they're doing, though, when it comes to medication.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you don't want a general purpose pediatrician uh, prescribing medication for autism. That
Exactly.
tends not to work well.
Exactly. Definitely have a professional.
You have a
Teresa.
professional who's professional in the right area.
Right,
A
right.
doctor who knows autism, not just a general purpose pediatrician.
Hmm. Teresa says, how does homeschool work for a child that gets speech class? Maybe Victoria can help with that question. Um, yeah, how do you work with the children if they need speech or any other kind of therapy? Do you do that at home with them, or do you have to take them out to other places? My son has been going to public school since he was in preschool. Okay. Carolyn says it was the best choice for my great nephew. Okay. Public schools offer access to occupational therapy, speech therapy, and adaptive behavior therapy. Yes, through the school districts. Victoria says it depends. Outside therapy is still available, and sometimes the school will still provide speech if you take your child to the school. I do my own speech therapy. Okay. Okay. So you can take the child to the school for therapy. That's good to know. Christine asks, "Are you a speech therapist?" Um, Cameo, hello. They say they do, but they lie. At least my city is the worst. Oh, for speech therapy and occupational therapy. Yeah, you definitely have to stay on the schools. Where are you located? Especially during OT. I mean OT. Especially during your IEP. It's best at those meetings that you have the therapists that are supposed to be hands on with your child at those meetings. So you can know exactly what they're doing, what days they are doing it on, um, and how it's being brought on. Do they go to class? Are they coming out of class? And you can also ask, once you find out the days, you can also ask for permission to go to the school on that day they are having their therapy session to sit in. So make sure you keep all that in mind. That is your right to do, especially if you know your school is not providing with what your child needs, and get an advocate if you need to. What you think about advocates advocating for uh, the kids, Mr. Charles?
Yeah, I mean, if you have somebody who can do that, yeah, that's great. And you can be your own advocate of the kids. That's great. But that's true. If you have somebody who understands the child's needs and is in a position to, yeah, it depends on what services are available that the public pays for and what you're able to afford.
Hmm. Hmm. Now, there are some that will advocate for you for free. So you just have to um, look out for uh, those. If your child has outside services, sometimes your coordinator, your service coordinator, they can advocate for you, um, especially, or you could contact some of these organizations. They have advocates available for you also. You just have to do your research. I'm thinking about transferring my son to a new junior high school. Why, Teresa?
Yeah, what you have to make sure of is that you're is that wherever you're moving him to is going to be better for him than where he is now, because there's the saying, going from the frying pan to the fire.
Mhm. Right. Got to make sure it's a better fit for your baby. Ask for IEPs. Yes, definitely do that. Definitely. Oh, you are in Lynn, Massachusetts. Well, yes, definitely. Your next meeting, make sure you bring all of that up. Um, go into the classroom if you have to. Make sure they are doing what they're supposed to be doing, because that IEP is a legal document they are supposed to follow.
Yeah, right next to Boston there.
Lynn, Massachusetts.
Yeah, there was a thing that we used to that my parents did with me and that I did with my daughter too, holding her on my lap on both knees, and bounce my knees up down and say, trot, trot to Boston, trot, trot to Lynn. And that would move my knees apart. Only be careful you don't fall in. Yeah.
Rayshawn, hi. How could I help my son calm down before he begins to put his hands on me? He's 17, going on 18. When he gets upset or can't get his way, he wants to fight me. My now I can't answer that from a personal thing, but my first question to you is he getting any kind of therapy? And can anybody help her with suggestions in the chat area? Anybody else going through this? Is he getting any behavioral type therapy for his aggression?
Yeah, what helped me, and this was, at around his age, or actually maybe about a year younger than he is now. Because when I was 17 going on 18, that's when I started college. But about a year earlier than that was when my mom and I started making weekly visits to two psychologists. One would talk with mom, one would talk with me, and then they would get together, and they helped me to deal, among other things, with aggression.
Okay. And then I guess it would depend on where he's at on the spectrum. Uh, you know, if he's even able to communicate with a psychologist and how they could help him, right?
Yeah, that makes a big difference. Yeah, because if
Yeah.
he's, level 2 or especially level 3, it's a whole different story. And that's when you think about, maybe putting him in a group home or something, because if he's getting to the point you can't handle him anymore.
Yeah. But I would definitely talk with his doctors and see what kind of therapy you can get him in. Oh, Victoria's answering the question. She said, certified, no, but I was a special education para for 8 years, in addition to doing a lot of learning and researching on my own. Christine says, provide physical activity to avoid child self injury or self injury. Okay, are you trying to answer, was that Rashawn's question? She's asking, he's 17 going on 18. Um, she wants to know how can she calm him down before he puts his hands on her when he's being aggressive towards others. What kind of tips or suggestions would you guys um, give to help her in that situation? Hey, Danielle, still
Hi,
waiting on
Danielle.
your email. Regional centers, parents helping parents is nationwide.
Yeah, and it's good to be aware of all these local resources, because this is a great group. You know,
Mhm.
never going to knock it. This is a great group. But when you have questions that have to do with resources that are available locally,
Yeah,
or state laws, or local laws, or what local schools do, and so on, there's nothing like a
definitely
group like,
open up and research.
yeah, the
Definitely.
Autism Society of America is one organization I recommend, because they have chapters, local chapters nationwide. If you're elsewhere in the world, there probably is an autism society of some sort in your country, and use that, because the local chapter of an organization like that is aware of things that are local,
Mhm.
things that this group is unlikely to be able to answer, because
Well,
um,
that's why we're here to
yeah.
get local. We can get the parents to share their local information. So I encourage everyone to, especially if you're seeking advocacy, someone to advocate for you, definitely go to the local organizations and check them out. Definitely. Sensory processing techniques help. Oh, Mr. Charles, you never did share your interview.
Yeah, and I haven't yet gotten the email telling me that it's available to share.
Oh, okay. Okay. We'll wait.
Yeah, so I'm still waiting. If I don't, another week or so goes by and I don't hear anything, maybe I'll try to reach out to the people and ask, is it going to become available soon? Last week was a busy week for me. I was in a class, school for congregation elders, all week, so that pretty much occupied my time for the week. That was, in fact, why I had to leave the group when I did last Sunday, because I needed to get to bed to get up early Monday.
Okay. Teresa says, last Monday, my son David was punched in the
Ooh.
face. Oh no. And he has a fractured jaw. Oh, poor baby. So now his right side of his face is swollen. I kept I kept him for 3 days because he was in so much pain, and now his pediatrician put him on some pain med. What happened, Teresa? Oh no. I hope it wasn't another bullying situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing when bullies, you know, harass you, push you around a little bit. Another thing when they punch you and break your jaw. That, you know, I never had that happen.
So she says they have nothing here in Louisiana. PDD, yes. My son was diagnosed. That was his original first diagnosis, but now he's definitely level 3. Um, Christine says seek out occupational therapy, swimming, boxing, wrestling, learn about feelings and emotions and how for when frustration happens. Now you mentioned boxing. Rashawn, that's a good idea. You may want to try. It may help. I have my son a boxing a sparring bag. So when he gets really agitated or in one of those moods, I just tell him to go in the basement and hit the bag. And he actually enjoys it. He's 17 too. So he'll go down there until he tires himself out and just hit the bag. And then afterwards, he's okay. Now, that's just a suggestion. And it may help to kind of calm him down. So when he gets those aggressive tendencies, you'll have it right in place at home. That punching bag where you could just go and let it out. And, my son from that, he does all of other kinds of exercises too. So yeah, that may be something you want to look into. So Teresa says it all started when my son was talking about Ninja Turtles, and the other kid that was bullying him did not like the Ninja Turtles. Oh wow.
So he doesn't like Ninja Turtles, so he punches your son out. And
Yeah,
it sounds like you could use a stint in reform school to straighten him out.
I think we can all use punch a bag some days. Yeah, yeah, you are right about that. Victoria says I homeschool for many reasons. Individual learning, no bullying. That's a good one right there. More time with them, yeah. Learning what we want, when we want, and letting them be who they are. Okay. Good reasons. Good reasons. I need to hire DeAndre. Me too, girl. He had me hitting that bag one time, gave me some gloves, and I was tired after the first few seconds. And he could just keep
Wow.
going. Um, Michelle says, my suggestion is to speak to his doctor. They may be able to give you some resources to help out. Very good, very good. Yeah. They may be able to offer some suggestions on ways to refocus his anger or, due to his age, resources on getting some in home services. Great advice. Great advice. Yeah, definitely excellent points, Victoria. Anyone else homeschools and would like to share their reasoning behind it? Thank you. Well, yeah, I hope, I'm sorry we couldn't, be of more help because I know you're looking for solutions, but definitely try to get that bag. And as Michelle said, talk to his doctor and see about getting resources. They have to have something somewhere, somewhere in that community. Doctors that have children of their own to speak to children with needs. Doctors that have children of their own to speak to children with needs. I
Sure
don't
what she's
quite get
saying.
that. You get that, Mr. Charles?
Yeah, I don't really get what she's trying to say.
Yeah. During the pandemic, I sure learned I am no teacher. I think a lot of us was struggling. Hi, Tammy. Good evening.
Hi, Tammy.
Is that Kim? I worry about my grandson only eating pizza and he doesn't want to try other foods. How old is he? I would say as long as he's eating right now. You know, my son was on certain foods for the longest. And I say this all the time, that ravioli. I had to keep my cabinet stocked with ravioli. As he got older, his appetite started changing. Still, some certain things he won't eat, like sometimes rice, I guess because of the texture, but he eats just about anything else. Sometimes it could be sensory to certain foods. So make sure when he's in occupational therapy can help with that. Even ABA therapy, they can help you with some kind of food therapy.
And then you're trying to introduce him to new food. Try telling him it'll put hair on his chest. That may help.
It'll it'll grow hair. Oh, Mr. Charles.
I used to tell that, and I used to say that to my daughter, but it didn't work too well. She would usually respond,
Yeah,
"That's
I
what I'm
don't think
afraid
it
of."
would. I wouldn't want hair on my chest. Hey, Lorienda. Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little hoarse today myself, Lorienda. Miss you too. Hope you feel better. He's 13. Okay, yeah, definitely. Just give him a little time, introduce things slowly. Um, and if he's in occupational therapy, make sure you let them know so they can make that part of his plan. Um, food therapy. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
Teresa says, I even went to my son's school and spoke to the assistant principal and his special education teacher. I even spoke to the campus security guards that knew my son from elementary school that he went to. Wow.
That's good. Yeah.
So, I mean, what are they doing about the situation after you spoke with them? All he wanted was oatmeal. Okay. Yeah. I had it was ravioli. Then he graduated from ravioli to French fries and chicken nuggets. How are both of you guys doing? My baby was the same way, but I could get him to eat a little more. Just keep trying. Yep. Great advice. Thank you, Tammy. Doing good. My little got a little cough here going on, but I just got over a cold or still trying to get over a cold. My neurotypical child is more picky than Jaden. Okay.
Yeah. 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 Not all. Not all autistic kids are picky eaters. Not all picky eaters are autistic.
Right. All children have needs and parents know about their child, so doctors can relate to helping. Doctors that are book smart can't understand. Yeah, it takes experience. It definitely takes personal experience.
Yeah. Now I get what she's saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That helps when a doctor has children of his own.
Right.
of his or her
Yeah.
own.
That ravioli gets me too. And it had to be Chef Boyardee brand. If I bought the store brand, even if I tried to sneak it, he wasn't gonna touch. He wasn't going for it. So
Well,
yeah.
what I remember from my childhood was there was an ad, there was a commercial that ran on WQXR radio, classical music station in New York that my mom used to listen to all the time. And it said, uh, and it was an ad for Golden's Rich Prepared Mustard. And
What
they,
was it?
Golden's Rich Prepared Mustard. And they said, tell your chef to put Golden's Rich Prepared Mustard on your meat before cooking. And I think they had in mind gourmet cuts of meat. But anyway, when my mom fixed hot dogs, I would insist that she put Golden's Rich Prepared Mustard on them before cooking.
Oh my goodness.
I can drive and you can okay. Stay on your thing. Okay. Why don't we do that then? Okay. I'm going to stay on this. I'm going to just go over to the driver's seat. Cindy's going to drive us home.
Okay. Oh, you're welcome. Use motivators and start slowly. Smell food, lick food, chew food. Yes.
Okay, Nadia.
Hey, Denise. Hello. I have an autistic nonverbal daughter who is 4 years old. We are considering homeschooling for her. Right now, she is in special needs preschool classes, but I'm worried about lack of support training for her. Can someone give suggestions on what may be the best for her learning ability? Victoria, are you still here? It's a question for you, or did you answer it? Okay, here's Victoria. Are you asking whether homeschooling would be better for her, or asking about what curriculum to use if you choose to homeschool? We would like to see her in regular classroom setting by the time she enters kindergarten. Okay. Danielle says, Kim, I just offered my son more foods. If he does not like them, I still let them be available to him without force. He didn't like the attention and excitement when he ate. Also, therapy may help. Yeah, great suggestions.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you're really excited that your child is eating a new food, don't show it in front of the child because
Right.
that may turn them off.
Man, like, oh, you getting excited? Okay, I don't want it.
Yeah, well, it's more like you seem to make a fuss about it, and
Hmm.
that's what can be the turn off. The child doesn't understand your excitement. And instead just sees you're making a fuss about it.
Okay, Teresa says they have been looking through all security cameras. My son even drew a picture of what happened that day. I took a picture of the drawing and sent it to his teacher. Wow. Um, and this is another special needs child, I'm assuming. They're in the same class. In that situation, I would think that child definitely needs definite behavior plan. Um, see what's going on. Cause yeah, I'm so sorry that happened to you. He only eats Pizza Hut, so we buy it all the time. Oh wow, Pizza Hut. Ooh, if I had to eat Pizza Hut every day. They taste every last ingredient. Right, right. They know exactly the formula. Kelly says, I have concerns about my grandson. He is only 14 months. There's a significant history of autism. My daughter is in denial to get him evaluated. Any suggestions to be supportive? Can anyone offer any suggestions to be supportive? Just be there. Be there.
Uh, one, one thing I would say is don't keep pushing it with your daughter. If she you've said your piece, and maybe she'll get it if she's allowed to look at things on her own instead of push, push, push.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I went through that denial phase when DeAndre uh, first started showing signs of autism. One, I didn't know what autism was, but when it was suggested to me that, he's not reaching his milestones or, and then I overlooked things. I let certain things just go right over my head. And now when I sit back and think about it, I'm like, oh, yeah, the signs were there early, early on. But yeah, I think we all go through that denial phase, and it may just take a minute. If the signs are there, they will definitely show face, and she'll eventually get there. Just be there for her. Just be there for her. Christine says gradually request mainstream in art so she can see mainstream with peers. Now you are referring to the preschooler, or was there another question? Oh, asking. She's saying, oh, she's asking if homeschooling would be better. Okay, when Jaden was in speech therapy, they were trying to deal with his food issues. So they told us the steps to introduce foods. First, they need to touch the food. After they are comfortable with that, then they need to touch their lips. Next, to put a small amount in their mouth, and maybe they will chew. Take it slow, and they will try different food, and maybe they will broaden their horizons. Yeah, thank you for that, Michelle. Great tip. Great tip. Hey, Pammy. I'm not saying it can't happen, but you need to understand that it may not happen. Every child learns differently and on different levels. I'm not sure any of my three kids would be able to function in a regular classroom.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's really it depends on the child. Also depends on the parent though, because not all parents are equal to the job of homeschooling their kids.
Right. And I would think, when you homeschool, you would definitely have to have the patience and be on that schedule, um, and just be ready with the patience. I guess it would take a lot of patience, I'm assuming. Am I correct in saying that, Victoria? Patience. No, the bully kid is in the eighth grade. Oh no. And my son is in the seventh. Oh no, 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 no. Oh yeah, well the school needs to be on that right away. And
Yeah, if
he's
the kid is
not
not
in
a special,
a
yeah, if the kid
I'm
is
sorry,
not a
Miss
special needs, if the bully is not a special needs kid, then I have to wonder, why that bully has not been dealt with appropriately.
mm, right. You would think the school would immediately be on that. And if he has a fractured jaw, were you able to make a police report? Um, yeah, something needs to be done. Just be a good, yeah, just be a good granny. Eventually, the doctor will bring it up. Yep, that's true. Doctor will definitely let you know if there's some deficits there, or milestones the child should have been at. Kelly says, great advice. That is what my daughter is doing, just letting things go over her. She has a brother with nonverbal autism. Maybe that's something she isn't ready to confront yet. Thank you. Yeah, that could possibly be it. Yeah,
Yeah,
they don't have any class. Okay. Well, definitely, Teresa, make sure you had that police report, And I'm sure you have the hospital records of that fractured jaw. Something needs to be done. Um, some kind of action needs to be taken for that child, because you just can't go around bullying people because you don't like what they like. Patients, organization, and implement alternative strategies. Okay, for homeschool. Okay, thank you, Nicole. Ralph was moved to a regular classroom, and he did much better than in the autism. Then my hubby, then my hubby got moved to third shift. He started struggling a little with that. They gave up and put him back in the other room. Oh wow.
Um,
He never talked at school. Oh, he just shut down. Okay. Absolutely, Nita. There is a learning curve to homeschooling. To figure out what to teach, how to teach it, how many times you have to teach the same thing for
yeah,
your kids to
yeah.
get it. My youngest is 6 and is just now learning ABCs. We've been working on them
It's
for
not
3
on.
years. Oh, wow. Okay. Yep. So patience is a virtue. Okay. And okay, my question is, as so they wouldn't necessarily be have a grade level, um
Yeah.
but when it's time for them to graduate, is there they have to test with the public school system, or
I'll
do
take
they
all the
have
stuff upstairs. If you can stick it in the ice box, I'll bring it up.
I had to mute Mr. Charles for a minute. Okay, you back. Okay. um do they have to test with the school system every so many years, and once they get ready to graduate, how does that work? They tried to put Jaden in a regular classroom. He was good for short periods, but he cannot deal with the large groups too loud.
I'll
Oh
open the
yeah.
door and close the car door. Okay, we'll do. I'll come back down and do that.
That depends on your okay. Okay. So I am going to put the link in here if anyone wants to come on up. You want to share anything? Feel free to come on up on the platform. We got about 15 more minutes.
I'll eventually come out and take the stuff out of
Yeah.
it.
When DeAndre first got in school, I believe it was his first grade class, um, they tried to put him in a regular classroom setting. And I realized when I went up to the school, I'm like, it was like a whole lot of kids in the room. I said, "Oh no!" And even then, I knew he was nonverbal then, so I knew that just wasn't gonna work with him. So he's been in a self-contained classroom ever since. Nicole says, with bully issues, get a report from the school, file with your school district, and possibly juvenile courts. Teresa, you see that?
Yes, I did. Well, one thing is, I didn't get the phone. It happened first period. Okay. I didn't get the phone call until 1 o'clock that day about
What?
my son. It
One
said
o'clock.
his right jaw is swollen. Okay. I thought it was his 12-year-old molars coming in. I got to the dentist. The dentist says, no, Teresa. He was punched in the face because he had two knuckles imprinted in his cheek.
Wow.
And
So
so
the school covered it up.
they took pictures. They did x-rays of his teeth, which his teeth were just fine. And that's when the dentist recommended that I take him to the emergency room. So I did. They did a CT scan. They said it wasn't fractured, but on the paperwork I got, it says a facial fracture. 3 days later, I scheduled an appointment with his pediatrician. His pediatrician's getting all the reports from the hospital. And then my next thing is on Monday, which is tomorrow, I will be going up there to the school, talking to the assistant principal again, letting him know everything and all that. So I have all my paperwork already in order already. Because once I find out about it, and once I find out who the kid is, my next step is filing a police report and pressing charges against the 8th grader.
Kelly says, Teresa, I had similar issues with my school son. I mean, my son's school. I did end up doing homebound instruction till he graduated this year. A doctor's recommendation may have to be required. Okay, so what did your son say?
Well, actually, he was in tears that day when I picked him up. I told the school, okay, I'm taking him to the dentist because I made an emergency dentist appointment and all that with this dentist. And then
Yeah.
I took him. I spent at least 4 hours at the emergency room with my son.
Wow.
And all that because they had to do a CT scan. Then we had to find the hospital that I went to. They didn't have an oral surgeon on hand at all because it was a small community hospital. And I had to go to a bigger hospital to it. So basically, what they did, they took him out of PE for a while, to modify his PE classes for him, which it was good. And then he went. Then I scheduled an appointment with his pediatrician. His pediatrician noticed that his jaw was to one side, to the opposite side. And so that's when she told me, it's like, Teresa, it's fractured. And I'm going to put him on some pain medication for him, which is twice a day, morning and night, to help him. Which his swelling has gone down a little bit, which is really good. And then last night when we got back from the celebration of life of my sister, because we laid her to rest yesterday.
Sorry for your loss.
Thank you. And then that's when my son came out to the front yard on the front porch and says, Mom, Mommy, I just want to let you know what really happened is when I was talking about the Ninja Turtles and all that, the second week of school, and that's what he didn't like it, and he waited for me in the bathroom, and there was 2 protectors with him, 2 other 7th graders with him, and told David, don't go in that bathroom, he's waiting for you, which he couldn't hold it. He had to go really bad. He went into the bathroom and boom, the kid's cold cocked him on the right side of his jaw.
Well, yeah, it seems like the school should, and I agree here.
Covered it up.
Also report the school for
Yeah,
not taking.
I even told him, if I don't get this figured out, I'm transferring my son to a new school. I'm transferring him to a different junior high. I want to because he's getting good grades there.
Yeah, the school covered it up. That's what they did.
Yeah.
They covered it up.
Yeah.
And so that's what my next step is, pressing charges against the child and the parents. And then transferring my son to another school. If nothing works there, my next option is homeschool with him.
Yeah, I would be very angry.
Oh, when I was told, because I called the school that day to speak to the assistant principal that day when I was at the dentist, and the principal was in a teacher conference meetings with all his teachers and all the staff, and that's when she says, well, I can have him call you back. I was like, yeah, have him call me back ASAP because this is not right. And I was still waiting and still waiting. So the next day, kept my son home from school. And that's when the dentist told me he was punched. He was punched hard and all that because he went into the front office, said in a second period, because he was holding his jaw. And then gave him, I believe, some Tylenol for his pain, and then sent him back to class.
No. Unacceptable.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's like, I was furious because I see my son in pain, and I'm like, excuse my language, what the hell is going on? It's like, my son's been bullied in 6th grade. Now my son's getting bullied in seventh grade because he likes Ninja Turtles. Come on.
Michelle says, as soon as I heard it had been from a punch, I would have called the police and made a report, even without all the information. Yeah, because that is just unacceptable what the school did. They should have first, they knew what happened. They should have contacted you immediately,
Yeah,
and that child needs to be out of that school.
yeah. That's what I even
Period.
told the assistant principals. Like, why did I get a phone call that morning? Because I could have came to pick him up and took him to the ER to get him checked out instead of waiting until 1 o'clock to give me a call and all that.
Exactly.
He's like, Teresa, I'm so sorry for what happened. I'm so sorry. But it's like, well, we need to get this done. We need to get this figured out and all that. In some counties, you got to have the child's name to press charges and all that.
The school, the school. I mean, if he caused that much, he caused damage to your son. That's
And
straight up bully.
yeah, and
That is a
the
straight up
hospital
bully.
called it SP in a child, whatever SP stands for.
Yep. So Denise says, Teresa, I'm sorry to hear this. I pray you get this issue resolved quickly. The school should also be held responsible for not protecting your son. Yes, that school has a responsibility.
Yeah, they called it an facial SP assault on a child.
And parents, if you know your child uh, is a bully, especially to our special needs babies, we have to do better in talking to our children. We have to do better as parents
Instead of
because it
bullying them,
starts
friends.
at home.
Instead of bullying them, be friends with them. Make friends, talk to them, and interact with them and see what they like. And not instead of doing that, instead of bullying, make friends, be friends.
Yeah.
My son loves making new friends and all that.
Sometimes our children are targeted for being different. Yep. That's where us as parents, we have to come in and like Teresa say, try and make friends with them. Hi, Renee.
Because what I'm gonna do tomorrow, basically tomorrow morning, first thing Monday morning, I'm calling his pediatrician's office to see if they got the results from the hospital. If not, I'm going down to the hospital, getting the paperwork from them, and then going straight to the school and speaking to the assistant principal.
Nicole says in Maryland, we have to request directly with the district for transfers for issues, but we must have all paper trails. So make sure you keep all your paperwork. I'm so sorry that happened to your baby. There was a report with Children and Youth Services. The authorities came into the school. 2 classroom teachers were put on administrative leave. That is why we went with the homebound instruction. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I asked about homeschool and speech and all that for the homeschoolers, because that's my next step.
Danielle said they are speaking with attorneys and putting you off. Yep. Trying to cover their own tails.
They're covering their own tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Where was the teacher when he went?
The teacher was in the class. Well, she was waiting for the rest of her classes, her students to get there. My son was the first. My son's half of his class was the first one there, because he gets there at 8:45 in the morning. He goes in and puts his stuff down and raises his hand to use the restroom, and that's what happened. He went to walk to the bathroom, which is near his classroom, and all that, and that's when it happened. And they were watching cameras from the time he got off the bus to when he got into the classroom. And then that day when I picked him up, I the next day I spoke to the principal again, the assistant principal, when we got home, and then my son. That's when my son told me it happened in the bathroom. All it shows him it shows on the camera, the second views of cameras, it shows him opening the bathroom door, and when he sees people in there, he comes out and sits on the floor by the bathroom door and waiting for everybody else to come in to leave. So then he go back in there, do his business, and then leave. But each time they come in, kids come in, he comes out and steps out by the bathroom door.
Okay.
That's all it shows, and then him going back to class.
Mm-hmm. Michelle says the school does not care if you transfer. There is nothing they can gain from keeping him in their school. Telling them you would remove your child. Charges should be brought against the school. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. Hi, Renee. Kinda off subject, but does anyone in here have a spouse that's autistic? Renee, yes, they test every year at his school and to see what his oh, that's for the other. Okay.
Yeah. Well, last question. Cindy does.
Oh yeah, Mr. Charles. Yeah, so Mr. Charles is on the spectrum. So his wife is married to an autistic individual. Victoria, um, can we chat, please? Not now, but in a bit. I was so, oh, okay, that's for Victoria. I'm sorry. With the child I represent, they only transfer her. They wouldn't expel the bully or what? I also recommended a site clearance for the bully because of 2 years of stalking. You mean to tell me they allowed the bully to stay in the school?
Even Macy and
Wow.
I wonder who he was related to. Maybe he was related to one of the school officials. Maybe he was the school superintendent's grandson.
Right. Kelly says my son had a large cut above his eye. The school had my child in his wheelchair in a separate room. Definitely. Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that, Kelly. Definitely push it. Danielle says name the administration as assailants until they come forth with the information. There you go, right there, Teresa. Denise says, has anyone heard of shadowing our special needs children? This is what I did for 6 years. Oh, shadowed in the classroom. Shadowing involves one-on-one with watching the student throughout the day. Okay, no, I haven't. I have 2 autistic children. Nicole says yes. Okay, everybody, I'm going to put the link in. Last call. Last call. And we are going to end tonight's Let's Talk Autism. Remember, if you are in the Metro Detroit area, sweatpants and mimosas, October 1st. Sign up. The link is in the chat, autismandus.org. Scroll down a little bit and you'll see some information on the event. You have to reserve your spot, limited seats. So come on and join us. Um, let's see. Dinah says, I am so sorry that you and your child has experienced this. Bullying is a serious topic, and I had this experience with Nathaniel getting bullied and took an aggressive approach to getting it resolved. Wow. You know, I don't know what to say.
It's hard to say to figure out what's going on and all that. Because half these kids who are autistic, they can't tell you because some of them are nonverbal, and they can't tell you what's going on.
Right, exactly.
And some kids that have severe with mild speech, like my son, he barely could tell me until I find out what's going on with him. He barely he tries to tell me, but
Yeah. Okay, everybody. Thank you for another great open discussion. Um, we'll continue week after next. We won't be on next Sunday because of the Labor Day holiday. So, any last words, Mr. Charles?
Um, anyway, I hope that you get that, Teresa, you get that issue resolved. You get the thing resolved.
Me too.
That you do get the whole thing, police report, and everything taken care of, and that you're able to get some satisfaction. Again, remember, the schools are not your friend. They've already demonstrated. The school tried to cover up the whole thing. They've already shown where they stand, and so don't expect the schools, even if they start acting friendly, don't believe them. They've become your adversary. You know, sue the pants off them.
Mm-hmm. Teresa,
Yeah,
you
that's what my next step is going to sue the parents and the child, but then also the school.
okay?
But be kind to have all to all special needs kids, because it's
Yeah.
not right for our babies get bullied for
Nope,
no
not right
reason
at
because
all.
they're different.
Mhm. Michelle, weekly reminder: you are loved. You are amazing. You got this. Keep up the good work.
Get
Be
your shoes
those
on.
mama and papa bears. Take time for yourself. Love you all. Thank you for that, Michelle. Kelly says, "Have a great evening." Supporting you, Teresa. Thank you for
Thank
that,
you.
Kelly. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. Even if you're on the outside looking in, show us some love, please. Show us some love. And we will see you all after the holiday.
All right.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Good night.